Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking to you here is Untitled from Tala Plastics, and I'm with my team, Kumo Mora and Bakumchari, and we are going to be presenting to you about biodegradable plastics and bioplastic. Kumo, can you do
Let's
the
so
next slide?
so if you want to speak up a little bit, it's a little bit soft on my side. If you can.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
Okay. So with the industry in our country growing, we have many people using plastics and many companies producing plastics. And this plastics has caused a lot of waste in our country. But this plastics is made from oil. It's oil-based polymers, and it causes a lot of waste that has a lot of problems. And the following are the problems that are caused by this oil plastic waste. This waste poses as a health hazard to humans. Hello?
You're doing great. Keep on going.
Okay. Yes. It also poses as a health hazard to animals who work, which work in the environment, which may come across them and probably eat them, or they may choke from eating those plastics. This oil plastic waste also contaminates the soil. And because of its nature, that is, it degrades after a lot of time, which is maybe around thousands of years. It causes waste, and upon its degradation, it releases toxic chemicals into the soil. So with this problem, we have decided to come up with producing biodegradable plastics as Team Tala Plastics. And this bioplastics will be derived from starch. Just continue. Taking you through the industry overview. Tala Plastics is a step into the future because so far in our country, we've been using plastics that are made from fossil fuels and also natural resources, which are non-renewable, and therefore they are depleting in the environment, and they are also not environmentally friendly. Stepping into a more greener and a more cleaner future, we as Tala Plastics decided to produce bioplastics, which will be made from starch that will be derived from local high starch crops such as sorghum and millet. Also, we are taking a different approach into the industry. That is, so far, people have been recycling this oil-based plastics, but as you know, they take a lot of time to degrade. Even when they are thrown away at landfills, they somehow end up in the environment and in the oceans. But we as Tala Plastic, we say that this bioplastics, even if they do manage to reach land as waste, they will degrade in a matter of months. Even in the ocean, they will degrade in a matter of just months. And they are also compostable, hence a different approach. The industry potential of these bioplastics is that their production is very cheap and it uses cheap resources. As I've said, we'll be using starch from local crops in our country. Also, their production is very sustainable in that it uses less energy to produce them, and they cause less carbon footprint in the environment, and their production also produces less carbon dioxide emissions. Also, this plastic serve potential growth between the years of 2022 and 2027. They will grow with the CAGR of 8.87. And therefore, with this information, it proves that our biodegradable plastics will be more sustainable than your ordinary oil-based plastics. Now moving on to the competition, my colleague Momora will take over.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kumomare, and I'll be taking you through our competitors and market research. As it stands, the plastic production market in our country is relatively new. That is due to the government giving a mandate to producers to have local production of plastics. And as it stands, we have KPI, Sun Plastics, Nampak, and Mopani. KPI being the largest producer of plastics in the country, being at around 40%. Most of our competitors are relatively new to the market, and what they all have in common is that all the plastic are derived from fossil fuels. Moving on to our products. Our product, plastics is a very large market because it's used in almost every industry. We have it in households, constructions, chemical, packaging being the largest of it, garments and hospitals. Us producing bioplastics, there's a growing trend in our country to push sustainability. Our target market is companies that use plastics within the region. We would be at a clear advantage because bioplastics are not very common in our country, and as it stands, there are no competitors which are producing the plastics. So us being first to market will give us a clear advantage, as we'll be able to establish ourselves as the clear dominant producer in the market. Plastics are projected to reach a CAGR of 11.5 from 2021 to 2030. It is a very large market that is growing year by year. And with the current state of fossil fuels, we are trying to move away from fossil fuels because as it stands, they are very toxic and they are pollutant. Our product pushes the sustainability goal as it says by the UN. We are planning to have a very large online presence to use and use social media to push the growing agenda of sustainability within the country and move away from fossil fuels. Moving on to production.
Hello, my name is Mbako Mutsari. I'll be taking you through our production steps, the way in which we will be producing our bioplastics. Firstly, our bioplastics, we'll be extracting them from our high starch local crops. Botswana is a country which is known for high starch crops such as sorghum, millet, and maize. These are plants which grow very well in Botswana, which means that we can easily grow these plants and extract our starch. when we extract our starch, we will extract our starch, then we put it in a holding tank. Then it would go through lab work, in which they would make a polymer from it. After making the polymer, we would add a plasticizer to the starch to form a plastic. Then we would go through a process of thermoforming, which is basically softening the plastic. Then lastly, we would go into injection molding. Injection molding is a way of determining the shape of our plastic. Maybe you want to make it pellets. Maybe you want to make it plastic bags. Maybe you want to make it plastic bottles. So we have a large market to tap into because of our various products we'll be making. So what you see right now, these are what we call bioplastic pellets. They have different colors and they'll be used to make different kinds of products. Continue. Then our financial plan is easy. We have our labor-related costs. As you can see, we're going to be having a supervisor, an operator, a safety and health officer, a lab technician. Our consumables are starch, plasticizer, fiber, and electricity. Our equipment are going to be the extruder, the sealing and bag making machine, the automatic thermoforming machine, the printing machine, and also the injection molding machine, as well as the storage tank. All these costs would sum up to almost $1 million, 1,654,343.75 kula. Continue. Sustainability. So the sustainable development goal we're looking at is SDG 12, which talks about ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns. What we want to do is to ensure that the way we consume our resources is sustainable, and the way that we produce them as well is also sustainable. But we decided to target this sustainable development goal because of the because of the plastic waste in Africa. SDG 12 is responsible consumption and production. So, which means that bioplastic will promote the sustainability and will also promote this the sustainable development goal, because it does not because the biodegradable plastic, it does not contaminate the environment. It also is cheap to produce and does not involve the usage of non-renewable resources. Yes. So we're going to leave you with a message which says waste is a design flaw. We believe that waste is something which is a design flaw because as innovators and scientists and engineers, we believe that we can solve any issue as long as we try targeting it. So we believe that bioplastic will solve this problem of waste and this design flaw.
Thank you so much, team. If you don't mind, stop sharing your screen and we're going to immediately jump into questions. If the judges would like to start, if anyone would like to start. Nareti, I see you're off camera, and as you are too, Austin, so.
Yeah, I'd like to ask, first, let me congratulate you on such a brilliant idea. I mean, plastics are the #1 enemy in terms of waste and pollution. Are you going to be, you are not going to be using any of the existing plastic as raw materials. You are going to be starting a new line of plastics, which are bio, right?
Exactly. We'll be
Yes,
moving completely away from fossil plastic.
You are moving.
Okay.
So there's no opportunity to clean up the plastic. It's to just start from now and start on a new plastic journey, which is biodegradable.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That was my question. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Austin. Nareti,
Yeah, thank you. Fantastic presentation. I love the visual. I love the fact that you're taking us through the journey. It's fantastic. Well done, guys. I just have one simple question. How do you hope to sustain your backward integration with the farmers? Or do you already have a certain relationship with the Farmers Association in terms of getting the raw materials that you need? Or do you intend to have your own farm, in order to ensure you have your raw materials consistently on a consistent basis? Well done.
Thank you so much. What we plan on doing is working on our own farms as well to produce these high starch crops. But also we plan on working with some of the local farmers that we have, because most of the time when they harvest their crops, they are what we call crop remains. So these crop remains, they usually burn them or use them as animal feeds. So what we are going to do, we're going to ask them to give us the crop remains so that we can extract the starch from them. Then we would take the starch from the crop remains, and we're going to have kind of an agreement with some of them who are willing to do that.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to quickly ask, I saw your table on your people. I was going to ask, you need just 4 persons, the operator and 2 other officers for this project. It looks to me that you might need more personnel for the project than what was, documented in your presentation.
True. We actually, for us to operate at a larger scale, we would need to hire more people. But that one is for just what can I call it, a sample lab kind of setup in which you would produce just a small amount of bioplastic, so that for prototyping.
Thank you.
Thank you, team. Philip, I see you had your hand raised for a second there.
Thanks, Maddie, and thanks, team, really. So I think I have a couple of questions, and this is something that we're working on now on carbon remove. So 2 things. One, I know you are looking at SDG 12 around sustainable consumption, yet this also infringes on SDG 13, which is climate, right? Because a lot of the crops, we know agriculture is one of the greatest polluters of the environment. So I think we have to be slightly careful around how we message this, because the crops that you grow for bioplastic production actually have a detrimental impact on the soil because of acidification and over fertilization. So I'd like to consider that. The second one, of course, is counterfeits, right? We know bio is, everybody's using bio this, bio that. How do you distinguish your product so that we know yours is a genuine biodegradable product and not like the others who claim they're bio and they're not? So those are my 2 points.
And the one on how would we be able to distinguish our plastics from others. Our plastics will be PLA plastics, which are polyactide plastics. So they will have that label on their packaging to distinguish them from the already existing plastics, which are made from oils.
Thank you, team. Peter, I see you're in the car. You're here to ask questions as well. Oh.
Okay, thank you very much. I like your presentation, and biodegradable plastics are good. Now, I just have one question. I don't know how much, I didn't hear how much you're looking for, but how about if somebody that has money come in and in a very quick matter of time, they are able to upstage you? You were talking about being
Peter, I think we lost you.
actually be the first mover. So how do you?
Peter, I think we lost you a little bit. If you don't mind just repeating that question real quickly.
So is the issue of cash I did not hear them how much they needed. But really, if somebody has cash, they can come in and upstage them, and they will not really be that first mover that they are claiming to be.
Team?
Thanks for the question. We actually put that on the PIX platform. We said we're going to need about 250,000 US dollars for us to actually start something which is going to be upscale and something which is going to be produced at a large scale.
Thank you, team. Yawadin, I see your hand is also raised.
Just a quick question. At the beginning, I wasn't sure if I heard it right. Is it government mandated for Botswana to now use non-plastic products or not? And if it's not mandated, how are you going to make your product more competitive so that the consumers can actually buy the degradable versus outside of their conscious bothering them? How competitive will your product be? Have you priced it out yet?
What's mandated is that the government is pushing for local production. And as it stands, there are increasing plastic levies that have been imposed in the country. So the use of plastics is getting more and more expensive. And we're trying to offer alternatives to that problem.
So pricing wise, you haven't worked it out yet, or how competitive will you be?
Pricing wise, already the other plastic alternatives are very expensive looking at them. So we're looking at our product. It is going to cost less than the offered plastic alternatives.
Yeah, actually, the reason why it's going to cost less is because we don't have any importation costs. Most of the plastic producers in Botswana, they import plastic pellets from other countries. They're also, in general, fossil fuel products are also generally more expensive. So which means that we'll be able to produce in a manner in which we'll be able to sell at a competitive price because our resources are cheap, and also our methods of production are also cheap.
Thank you, team. I also wanted to point to a couple questions in the chat. I will also be sharing these with you later when I introduce you to the judges via email, in case you wanted to continue some of these conversations. I think we have time for one more live question. So I don't know if one of our judges, especially Darius, Austin, Philip, who asked in the chat, if they want to ask their question out loud.
I mean, I can ask. My question is, have you produced any bioplastic and tested them in their strength, normal usage, or even produced in a lab samples? Or how do you know that this will work? Is it a concept?
Yeah, for now it's actually a concept, but the actual procedure of producing a plastic from scratch is very easy. It's so easy that you can even search it on YouTube. It's very, very, very easy. But like I said, us we're engineers. This kind of stuff is the kind of stuff we do. So it's going to be easy for us. We already know what we need. We already have the resources and the facilities to be able to do what we have to do to make the product.
So that gets to my question, which was, so here on Stanford campus, it's basically a requirement that food vendors use bioplastics. So in our dining areas, our dining halls, our cafes, all the coffee cups, everything is bioplastic. So the technology is well proven. I'm not, my question is really whether your first mover advantage is meaningful, because I don't know that you can defend you don't have intellectual property. The processes aren't unique. It seems like the only thing that defends your first mover advantage is a government policy of self-sufficiency, which presumably means that they're also going to keep out imports. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That is right.
So that's a pretty risky business model, obviously, because, you know, if the bioplastics are more expensive than hydrocarbon-based plastics, people will only buy them if they have no choice. If policies change, you might be in trouble. So I think, I mean, it's not a criticism. I just would think through, you guys are engineers. I think you need a business person on your team who can sort of walk through the unit economics of what this thing might actually cost to produce and how it would compare to hydrocarbon-based alternatives. The goals are laudable, but I think you need to work on the unit economics, and the financial model is not just about the money you need, it's about the money you're going to make. So I think you guys, I recommend you get someone on your team who's familiar in doing that kind of analysis and help you think through, you know, how does this whole thing actually make money?
Thank you, Darius. And I think you make a great point, and a great point to end on at this time. We want to respect everyone's time and availability, and we just wanted to thank you, Team Tala Plastics, for your time today. I think you all have done an amazing job, and we really appreciate it. I will be making sure that I have provided all of the information, questions and comments in the chat to you via email when I send these introductions, and then I will leave it up to you and the judges to coordinate some of these additional questions and comments on your own time. And at this time, I will be seeing all of you next week at the award ceremony. We are so thankful for all of your great work, and we can't wait to see you also at the boot camp. Philip is here. Thank you, Philip, for that opportunity for everybody from Thunderbird. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, and afternoon. And I will be seeing you all soon.